Describing, learning, and teaching. Okay, first of all, we have to talk about acquiring a new language. But for this, we need to focus on the child. Why? Because the child has the incredible ability to learn a language very easily. It comes out very naturally due to his age. In the same way, you have to be very consistent with the teaching on a new language, since as a children learn, they can also forget with the same ease. Every child under 6 years of age learns faster than a child over this age. This is because the puberty prevents an easy learning ability. But this doesn't mean that he will not learn. He will do it, but in a slower way. Parents are a very important factor in teaching a language. It is vital that the language they are teaching is used for the child's daily life, and that it is not used as a strict teaching instrument. In children, there is always a great need to communicate. Therefore, the parents and the teacher must be a fundamental pillar in the teaching process. They are important factors in your communication process. First of all, we have exhibition. To be having to speak a language in your environment. Second one, we have the motivation. Seeing the language as a fundamental tool to work individual or including in groups. And third, we have opportunities to use it in your daily life and get ahead. To be a professional.
What does this tell about how students should acquire a second language? Can we try to replay the child's experience in the language classroom? Although, in fact, we should. Some people have suggested that we can make an exception between acquisition and the other word that is learning. Learning is the acquisition of knowledge of something through study, exercise, or experience. Many American languages suggest that teachers should focus on acquisition or acquisition rather than learning, and that the roles of language teacher should be to provide the right kind of understandable information, that is, a language that students understand more or less, even if it is a little above its own level productions. In addition, we should offer them the opportunity to study the language and the way it works too, since for some students it will be the key to their success. Whenever students experience the language in a say free atmosphere, they will acquire it just children do, and most importantly, when they want to say something, they will be able to retrieve the language they need from their create language store. So in this way, have the ability to express thoughts and feelings through these words. Pero el lenguaje que se ha aprendido, por otro lado, no está disponible para su uso de la misma manera, porque el alumno tiene que pensar mucho más conscientemente sobre lo que quiere decir o hablar. Además, hay que saber que las diferencias entre individuos, sus condiciones de aprendizaje y los contextos en los que aprenden son algunos aspectos sobre los cuales se focalizan los investigadores para deducir y demostrar la dificultad del aprendizaje de una lengua extranjera. Y si creemos que la adquisición es superior al aprendizaje, pasaremos todo nuestro tiempo aportando información comprensible o accesible. Lo que no haremos es pedirles a los estudiantes que se centren en cómo funciona el idioma. Sin embargo, hay problemas con este enfoque. En primer lugar, la capacidad de adquirir el lenguaje tiende a deteriorarse fácilmente con la edad. En segundo lugar, los adolescentes y los adultos tienen poderes de razonamiento perfectamente buenos y pueden querer pensar conscientemente sobre cómo funciona el lenguaje, y debemos recordar que para muchos estudiantes de idiomas una de las mayores diferencias entre ellos y los niños que adquieren su primer idioma es la cantidad de exposición que obtienen.
Different times, different methods. The acquisition versus learning debate may seem to be a relatively recent argument, yet for as long as language have been taught, people have argued about the best way of doing it and how to help students to learn more effectively. Almost a plethora of ideas and techniques which have been offered over the years. Some trends have had and continue to have a significant impact on how language are taught today. The grammar translation method, which was first named as such in Germany in the 1780, introduced the idea of presenting students with short grammar rulers and word lists, and then translation exercise in which they had to make use the same rulers and words. Grammar translation still has a relevance today that is not participated as method in the same way, but most language learners translate in their heads in various states anyway. The danger with grammar translation, in other words, is that it teaches people about language but doesn't really help them communicate effectively with it. This stuff for presentation parties or production in PP lesson or sequence that teach present the context and situation of the language. The book explains the main tasks, the meaning and form of the new language. The students then practice making tense with going to before going on the production state in which they talk more freely about themselves. Communicate language teaching CLT emerged in 1970. CLT has two main guiding principles. The first is that language is not just parent of grammar, which vocabulary item is told in about involves language functions such as invading, agreeing, and disagreeing subjects, etc. CLT is not just about the language, in other words, it's about how it is used. Communicate language teaching has had a truly beneficial effect since reminded teaching that people learn language not to take know about them, but so that they can communicate with them.
Elements for successful language learning. La enseñanza de idiomas actualmente intenta hacerle ver a las personas las oportunidades que el dominio de otra lengua nos brinda y lo extremadamente útil que es. No solo se centra en hablarlo bien, sino que también tiene un enfoque en la gramática. También procura que la práctica de este sea coherente con la edad y el estilo de aprendizaje de cada persona. Para que la enseñanza de una segunda lengua sea más o menos efectiva, debe tener ciertos elementos. Debes tener compromiso, estudiar por ti mismo y debes hablar en el idioma que estás aprendiendo la mayor cantidad de tiempo posible. All three ESA elements need to be present in most lesson or teaching sequences. Whatever the main focus of the lesson, the students always need to be engaged.
ESA lesson sequence. Just because the three elements of ESA need to be present in lesson sequence, this doesn't mean that they should always occur in the same order. In the first place, the order is bound to change depending on what we want to achieve. If we are running a task-based lesson, the study event may well come after activation. On the other hand, if we are introducing a piece of grammar, we may study the language first before the students are asked to try to use it. Secondly, there is a danger that if we always do things in the same order, students will become bored. Predictability can diminish students' enthusiasm and motivation, and ours as teachers too. Many different teaching sequences using the ESA elements in a number of different ways are possible. We can look at just three possibilities to sense how varied the sequence can be: straight arrows, boomerang procedure, and patchwork relation. The first method, straight arrow, contains three elements: engage, study, and activate. First, engage consists in participating in class according to some image or idea presented by the teacher. After, in study, the structure of the topic to be taught is explained, and finally, students must work on a final product that involves what they have learned. This works very well to explain certain structures. Such a procedure may work at lower levels for straightforward language, but it might not be so appropriate for more advanced learners with more complex language. The second method is the boomerang. This has 4 steps and they are like disengage, activate, study, and activate again. First, in engage, the students discuss and are interested in topics. After that, in step 2, the students ask each other questions, making a type of debate with role play, where the teacher will be analyzing the mistakes that the students make and then comment on them with them. In step 3, study, they will talk about mistakes, where they are of vocabulary or grammar. In the last one, what is done is to carry out the activity again, taking into account the mistakes they made previously and the things they learned. The patchwork relations such classes are very common, especially at intermediate and advanced levels. It has 7 steps: engage, activate, where students see some situation and comment on it. After that, in the second step, activate, the students speak from their own experience and at the same time saying how they feel about it. The third step, study, the teacher explains and shows new vocabulary with its correct pronunciation according to the situation of the first step. Activate is repeated for the fourth step, and there the students describe themselves and their environment using the vocabulary from the previous step. In the sixth step, engage, the teacher talks about the possible causes and consequences according to the situation of the first step. And finally, in the seventh step, the students make a project with all the information acquired during the learning process. Engage, study, and activate are the basic building blocks for successful language teaching and learning. By using them in different and various sequences, teachers will be doing their best to promote their students. Social science, various theories and procedures which have informed debates about the language learning are reflected in sequences such as straight arrows, boomerangs, and patchwork relations.
ESA and planning. For this point, it is important to keep in mind that we want to expect students to achieve with a week or even a month when they do the lesson, and according to this, we must plan how to achieve that goal. Taking into account student participation has remained but the three elements of the ESA in which there are events where students are integrated into the plan. When students try to use the language they are learning, it is good that they do it in the lesson and that they also try to use other environments and ways of interacting, such as conversation with other people, because in this way we will have the learning and acquisition worthwhile. Some teachers have to plan around a book as Chapter 11 shows. In this way, determinate in the lesson that appear in them both, it is important to make a change in them according to the objective of each one, taking into account the three elements: engage, study, and activate.